So welcome everyone to this beautiful day. I was laying in bed this morning thinking it was just great to be able to even wake up and have a misty day. That was enough to be appreciative of that. And the fact that I could go down to my shower and turn on the water. And because it takes a little more time to warm up, it made me appreciate also the warm water and the water that comes right to my house. I mean, what better, what do we have to be appreciative about, Anyway, welcome. So just find a place, make sure your body feels relaxed and held. And just take a deep breath and be right here in this moment of time. And our breath certainly puts us there in the moment. We meet on the sacred ground of sovereignty. Triple cocooned, held so solidly. Breathing in the stability that is our life, being appreciative of that here and now and what is a rocking and rolling time many places in the world. And we invite in our teams from the unseen into those spiritual regions, whether we are connected to the angelic realm or the UFO realm, the guardian realm. We definitely have our own causal team who've walked with us from planning to birth to being with us here. Connected to teams, PTO teams, to our tag healing teams, and all that you each bring with your wisdom, your experiences, and your connections. We are here in this sacred ground, opening our channels of secure information to those unseen regions. Just let your breath move through you, through those channels. They are held so solidly by the intelligent field of Mother Earth, of Gaia. Fed constantly with the warmth and the inner information, unlimited, recoded for our youth through the field of this Father's Son. And we meet in great respect and honoring of one another, committed to an outcome that is good and beneficial and secure, willing to speak those words, hold those visions, and decree that outcome. So for this purpose, this circle is called, set, protected. It is now opened, and so it is. So let's each put ourselves into the circle, your name, where you are on the planet, and let's start there. Let's start with Sharon. And Sharon, when you're ready, you can tag someone else.
Okay, great. Lovely to see you all. I have a part-time gig as a house and dog sitter. And so I am in a house with 2 bulldogs in eastern Boulder County, Colorado. And a little sprinkle came through earlier. We've had lovely clouds. I don't see any right now, but lovely clouds in the sky. It rained Saturday. Let's see, I can't remember. Friday afternoon into the evening, through the night. Cool, like you all are describing on Saturday. Lovely, lovely. Good day for tea. And then started to warm up again yesterday. So probably in the sunshine. It's in the high 80s, but still beautiful with that feeling of change, right? That the end of summer and that this time of year brings for us, end of summer. So yeah, so I bring the quality of change, right? The only consistent thing there is change. And I'm happy to be here with you all. Thank you. And I will call on Sue, whose photo is next to mine on my iPad.
Thank you, Sharon. I'm Sue Riegie from Issaquah, Washington, and I'm bringing in the quality of trusting the process. And I'll call on Kelly.
Kelly here in Portland, Oregon. And I am going to bring in the thought of destiny. And I will tag Emma.
Hello, everyone. Emma in Williamstown, Massachusetts. And I bring in the quality of connection with the unseen realms. And I will call on Sushila because I'm so happy to see you.
Happy to be here. It's been quite a while, crazy year, but I'm Sushila from Nevada City, California. That's Northern California, about an hour north of Sacramento. And I bring in choice. I will call on Arlie.
Hi, I'm Arlie in New Zealand, and it is springtime here. The daffodils are up. We are on hard lockdown. We have an outbreak of Delta here, and New Zealand does not crap around with this stuff. So I would like to bring in the quality of serenity. It's really kind of nice being on hard lockdown, to tell the truth. And I would like to call on Angelique.
Thank you, Arlie. Hello, everyone from the Netherlands, from the other side of the ocean. It's happy to see you all. I would like to bring in the quality of honoring, and I call on Cinda.
Cinda, south of Portland, Oregon, and I, fall is in the air. It feels so nice. I would like to bring in the quality of family. I've been surrounded by my entire family this entire weekend. It's been amazing, and I'll call on Janelle, I guess. That's who that is.
Aloha, ladies. I'm calling in from Hawaii, and my
Yay.
reception is wonky, so it's easiest if I do it this way. And I am calling in the quality of compassion. And I'm not sure who's gone, so I'll let Sharon choose who's next or move on.
Thanks, Nia. I think we've gotten everyone. And those qualities, in addition to the magnificent unlimited that's already with us, we are calling in change, trusting the process, destiny, connection with the unseen realms, choice, serenity, honoring, family, compassion. And when I sent out an invitation to this circle, it was always when I'm sending something out, this always seems to be in relationship to something that's going on in the world. That's how we often talk, right? You say something, then I respond, and etc. So as we all know, we're having a lot of Afghanistan people. Also, what's been brought into our circle is the huge, massive lockdowns control in the North Korean population. Haiti's going through a lot of trauma. And as we know, that's the tip of the iceberg. And we all who are seeing things, see those in things happening in the world, and our compassion is there. And rightly so, because we are on this mission, Earth mission, together. And it was never intended that we ignore where there is disruptions and pain. In fact, the very purpose of Earth mission is for that which is in our personal field and in our joint mass consciousness field to manifest, in order for us to see what is there, what's messy, what's not messy, what's dangerous, what's not dangerous, what's good, what's not. That's what we're here for, is to see it, but not just to see it. And that's where we've lost the other part of the mission, is to be able to step into a position, if we're clear enough, like we are stable here, on this call, you are stable. You are not struggling for breath or where your children are going to be, or can you escape? We are not in that place of having the upheaval manifest directly in our life. We are not directly in those situations. Some of our family members, mission members, said, we will let it manifest through us. And they are. Our part of the commitment is to see it and say, what is causing it? Get to the cause and remove it so it's gone for forever. You know, we aren't here to just see it and say, I'm sorry. But a lot of us, that's all we know to do. And they're doing that. And that's great. But those of us who know we have the power, the authority, the vision, the connection to the greater teams and the greater power beyond Earth, we're here for a deeper mission. And that's what I want to call our attention to today, because these circles began in order to A, vision a future, B, eliminate the past seeds of imprints, powers, and trauma, eliminate it, heal, eliminate it in the past that would prevent us from being that future. And then to hold space in the guardian circle that says, and as those new plants grow, we will not let them be stomped on. So the whole purpose of this circle is that. So that's what I'm bringing to the circle today, that there are those within, some of them aren't in the circle today, but have been at other times, that have been made aware in their vision, in their wisdom, in their journey, inner journeys, that there are literally like military bases, if you will, underground of various countries, or underground of various systems. And we've been really good about feeling what's around us or in our situations that's not of the light, that feels off. We bring in the PTO. We ask them to remove that back now to its home source, not even allowed at all to exist. It goes back to its home source. Then we see that doors open that says, but here's some you hadn't known were there before. What is fermenting the Middle East, Afghanistan, Iraq, Pakistan, whatever, that's ongoing there, Africa, North Korea, even our country, is what we're here to say. I would like to focus on anyway today is, where can your team, your part of the team, what can they show you of what still remains of outsider energy that's causing situations like Afghanistan, like North Korea, like in our country to happen over and over and over again. We want it gone. And so I'm just, aware that there are underground conclaves, and it's like we're emptying we've made a great deal of progress emptying those who have attached here that are parasitic by nature, and the contracts that allowed them to be here. But as we hold that compassion and hold and send strength to those in other countries and other places, certainly that's to be done today, holding a different future for them. They can't have a different future if the underground, hidden, whatever is still there is still in place, because it continue to manifest in some fashion. So that's what I want to bring to the table at this point in time. And not saying you have to do that, because we go around and kind of say what's up. That's what's up is up for me, is to make you aware that, hey, we're getting deep. We're not through yet. And as we do our deep work, it's not just about sending love and strength so that those others in our mission force survive. That's perfect and great. But we have to go after the seeds and the roots, and wherever it's found. We're not finished yet. So that's what I'm bringing to the table. And I'm also putting in 9 individuals also for the intelligence of this field to work with those individuals. So we'll go around one more time, and whatever's up for you. And if you have individuals, either situations, you can say these situations or this many individuals, we're going to put it in the field, and then we're going to do our travel. So let's start with Arlie. Can we start with you? And let's tag around, because it goes faster if we tag.
I would like to bring in 6 individuals and 1 issue. And I will choose Angelique again.
Thank you, Arlie. I bring in 10 individuals and 1 major issue. And I asked to come into circle Emma.
Thank you. I will bring in 5 individuals and 1 broad issue. And I will tag Cinda.
I'll bring in 2 individuals and 1 event, and I'll take Kelly.
I'll bring in 3 individuals and 1 major issue. Soup. Sue, I tag you. Yes.
I'm bringing in 10 individuals and 1 major issue, and pick Janelle.
Hi, I have 4 individuals and 2 major issues. And I believe that's everyone.
We have Sharon Alexander.
I will bring in 6 individuals and 4 issues. Thank you.
Sushila.
I will bring in 4 individuals and 2 issues.
Okay. I'm really clear in my experience over these years is that this that we've brought spoken and unconsciously put in place here, work for the highest good will be done, in addition to whatever we do in our travels. Okay. So I'm going to do just a very short guided introduction into your journey, because you know your teams, you have traveled with them before. And if you'd like, you can turn off your camera until you come back. And we'll just take a breath and sense the stability of this circle and the energy of those who are holding us in circle. That we are not alone on the planet. We are simply the tip of the team that has the ability to see, to sense, and to speak and be heard and responded to. The answers, the solutions are already in place. They just, in the unseen, need our declaration that it be so. So notice who is traveling with you today. And feel the pleasure they have in being with you. They know where we are going, how we are going to get there. And so there's a delight in their time with you. It is not heavy, just deep commitment. So notice the path that they open for you. Whether it's a forest path, beach, UFO ship, going into the inner earth, you can trust your team. They know how to get you to the place where you can be most impactful, where you are intended to be today to make the changes for our entire mission field of volunteers and our earth and planet herself. They will have answers to your questions. They will guide you in what you are here to do today, and they will return you safely to our circle. So be with them, feel restored and rejuvenated with them. We'll see you back here when you are complete. So two things before we get into sharing. First of all, I also want to say how good it is to see the faces we haven't seen for a while, and always wonderful to have everybody in circle who is able to come. So good to see you all here. And then the other thing I was going to mention before, I'm teaching, I have a group of women who are learning the TAG facilitating course. They're learning how to do what that course affords. And a new concept that just is right here on the edge is the fact that we have made so many changes galactically and earthwise and beyond, that they have put together what they're calling the evolutionary blueprint for the physical bodysuit. So instead of just piece by piece trying to struggle with toxicities, etc., a whole new wiring system has been designed and coded and is ready to be downloaded into the body itself. And the facilitators in that course have been learning it, practicing it, and are ready to offer it as a beta test for free for anyone in the Sacred Ground Community Collective, not out there in the world right now, but for those of us who understand the power of this bodysuit being upgraded from the code, the DNA, the chakra system, beyond that even, they're ready to do a little practice. So if you're interested in considering it, not that you're promising to do it, if you're interested in considering being a client, just put yes in the chat, and then I'll connect with you, give you a little bit more details about what that means, and then you can decide if that's something you want to do. So that's really up. Okay, so what was the share? What's the sharing? What was your journey like? So let's start. Sharon, Alexander, can we start with you?
Yes. So it was really fun, and it brought me right back to where I began, So, and I'll just show a little picture real quick. Pictures are more than words. I don't know if it makes any sense at all. It's a scribble, but it's like this big wave of energy shooting right down into the ocean of oneness. I've been reading a lot of my ancient yoga philosophy these last few days, and it's really the samsaras, the sadnesses, the pains of life. And so my team, it was like this waterfall right down into the ocean of oneness. And then what's true, what came up is struggling is where you drown, and relaxing and floating and surrendering is where you rise. And for me, the words there are know, steady, and peace. And then, so struggle would be worry, doubt, hate, mistrust. Those are the words I wrote down, but there's so many more, right? Anyone could come up with. And the rising categories, it's all about what I wrote down: trust God, trust the team, trust the mission, trust that I'm in the right place, link up with others, doing that too. So from that, then my question is always, how can I, or how do I help others get to this place of trust? And a little bit for me right now, and I'm giving myself this whole year, is to step back and not need to know, or even not need to do anything about it. But the one word that popped up was collaborate. And then that took me back to, I guess if I think, who do I collaborate with? Those who trust God, trust team, trust the mission, trust that I'm in the right place, that they're in the right place, and want to link up with others doing that. So that was sort of my experience. Thank you. Do I pick or you pick, Sharon? Yes, I pick someone. So right below me is, I can't see the name, but Suhia Morton, Sushia in the red top. Yes, and glasses. Thank you.
Thank you. Well, the team went to a place, and as we were all settling in, there was a giant symbolic egg. There was an egg was laid. The PTO cleared, and by clearing, it was a within clearing, and then all malice towards individuals was cleared and taken away. So each felt very strengthened, and it ended with a red ruby light just surrounding everyone, and a great appreciation for these beings to move forward with this connection to light and spirit, and cleared from all this other density. So let's see. So I will choose Kelly.
And one thing we found valuable, and I forgot to mention this, just to pause just a few minutes. So after Sheila, and then pause, and then Kelly will come on. So you determine the pause, Kelly.
So a few days ago, I was having a lot of pains in my ears last weekend, and it happened to my left ear back in November. It happened to this right ear just 2 weekends ago, and I knew it was around the crystals, around the crystalline structure of my ear, because that's what happened last time. So a lot of pain in this ear, yada yada yada. So when I was at space, I go to my daughter's house, just twirling, they started showing me the DNA strands, and then it led me down to a movie, yada, this story, whatever. But basically started replacing all the strands. I could see them pulling out my strands and putting in something new, pulling out my strands and putting in something new. And it didn't dawn on me until dream time that what they were doing was taking away and replacing. And I could hear each strand has a sound and a tone, and they replace it with a crystal. And I know we're going into that crystalline form. We've been there for a while, but every time it's a certain sound, a pop, and a certain tonation as a new strand goes in. And, you know, I get a little zing in my mind when I, whoop, as it goes another one. Leads me to today. And this journey was because I've been in that space of walking and asking for more and more clarity. So you bring up the blueprint. So I thought that was lovely, just a lovely wink, if you will, to whatever that is. But and in that, asking as I was walking and through my journey to show me, just show me. And so that's what they did. They just showed me. They just started showing pop, 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 ding, 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 pop, 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 ding, 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 pop, 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 ding, ding, ding. And that was just this beautiful harmonic. So I'm just pop, 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 ding, 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 pop, 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 ding, ding, ding. So that's what it was. And it was lovely. The sound was lovely. The pop, pop, pop. It's like, oh, there's a pop. That means there's going to be a ding. So I think I'm going to have to create a little doodah. So ding, ding, pop, pop, ding, ding, whatever that is. So that's where I was. It was lovely. Thank you. And I'm just going to giddy. And I will tag Emma.
I was popping and dinging, and then I wasn't sure if I heard my name. I know there's a lot of really intense things going on in people's lives and around the world. And what's kind of making me crazy right now is that people are taking veterinary medicine to cure COVID. So what's behind that is just this communication, these communication energies that are just overwhelming people who might actually have some good sense. And yet they are hearing, not just in the physical world, but in the energy realms. They're hearing these messages that are just so manipulative and wrong. And so I asked to, I said I wanted to take down those broadcasting towers. And so we went to one here on Earth, and there I was with my little baggie full of a substance that would dissolve the broadcasting tower. And so I sprinkled it on the 4 pylons, and the tower collapsed. And then I sprinkled it on the earth and kind of, salted the earth essentially. And then the outsiders came and we captured them and sent them to their home, of their source home. And I said, well, I don't really want to go all around the world and do this over and over again. Is there a primary tower? And they were like, yeah, it's on the moon. I'm like, can't you come up with something better? Like, that's a bad sci-fi story. But we did go to the moon. And there was a primary tower. And so we did the, salting. And when this one dissolved, there was still a hunk of metal. And so one of the beings on my team took it to the sun to purify it. And so what happened next? Oh, so then we kind of put a big tent around it, and all of, it's like men coming out of a foxhole in a World War II movie. All of the outsiders were coming up and they were surrendering, and we were sending them home. And I left my team there to keep drawing them out. And I said, well, we need a new broadcasting tower. And so they brought back that piece transformed from the sun. It was just a very beautiful silvery thing. And we built a new broadcasting tower that then connected into the towers on Earth to broadcast the energies of our original star families. But then it wasn't just broadcasting to Earth, it was broadcasting out as well. And so I left a bunch of guys on my team to tend to that broadcasting tower. And so it is. Let's see. Arlie, did you go yet? Okay.
Wow, Emma. Okay. This was a little bit scattered, but I'll tell it in the order that I saw it. So I asked my guides what's causing the reinfestation and the spread of the types of energy that bring us Afghanistan and North Korea, so that we're playing whack-a-mole, basically putting out these fires. And I was shown pollution, and that this negative energy is being carried around on molecules of pollution. Not every molecule of pollution, like every excess molecule of CO2 or something, carries the energy, but enough of it does that the world is easily reseeded. So then I said, show me more. And I was taken way back in tribal times. I'm going to assume that it was when we first incarnated, back when we had the chip that caused off energy. And I saw a parasitic entity whisper to a male that serenity was boring during one of these off periods, and that a bit of risk and danger could make things exciting, could make each day different. So he agreed, and a bit of discomfort was added as an everyday thing, not just when the energy chip, the off chip, was active. Then this snowballed, it went from, I don't know, pick something minor like telling a lie maybe, to dangerous actions required to live. Like, for instance, hunting in big predator areas, having to go out for the deer in bear country or cougar country. Then it was supposed to be just enough to add spice to life, a little bit of fun. Then it got out of control. People started accepting vast levels of not fun, violence, pain, especially toward the women who were really ambivalent toward this new addition to the plan, but they didn't forcefully speak out against this boys' game, didn't seize their power. So there was I wouldn't say a split among the women, but some said, nobody was on board, but some said, fine, we'll let it go. And others said, I'm not getting involved with this mess. So that's what I saw. It started way back when. It was parasitic. It was a whispered thing to add spice, interest, variety to life, challenge, adrenaline, testosterone. Yes. So that was my journey. And I would like to pick Cinda.
Arlie, yeah, okay. Mine was a little bit on that same wavelength, but it also, I think, is picking up on that one journey you had quite a while ago, Arlie, when you had the biblical story of the Judaic faith and the Muslim faith, and how they were born with the two families, same father. So I was visualizing and sort of being taken through time, sort of chasing Afghan men with guns in a Jeep that seemed to be photographed everywhere right now, so I'm following them, and I'm trying to figure out, who are you and why are you doing this? And how do we work with you? How do we, I was assuming I'd be taken back in time and then find the seed and work on dismantling it. But it kept me present time, and I started to see things like snapshots. And basically what I was shown is that this organization, they are far weaker than they want anyone to realize. And they are acting like the second child that gets ignored, and they are therefore throwing their temper tantrum and being incredibly loud and violent and appearing to be vicious, and they are vicious, and we know that. But I mean, they are pushing themselves to be and to be observed as being worthy of the oldest child. I'm better than them. I'm more powerful than them, and look at me because I'm louder and I'm angrier and I carry guns and rape and I kill without any problem. And so I know from my own personal experience, you can't reason with crazy. So I'm asking my team, I don't get it, you know, so big deal that they're showing us that there are these ignored second children and that they're getting loud and violent. Look at me, be scared of me, be scared of me. And they think that this behavior is their power. And, you know, I like, but you can't reason with crazy. So what are we supposed to do? So they showed me 3 different scenes in my life that I'm familiar with to help me sort of get a picture as to who they are. Because they are not as powerful as maybe they once were because of the work that we've been doing. But they are recognizing and feeling their loss of power, and therefore they are like, and then here's the first thing that I saw. And I don't know if you guys remember this video from a long time ago of that little like 2-year-old throwing a major temper tantrum, screaming and crying, and the mother is filming him. Probably with a video camera, you know, and not a phone, throwing a temper tantrum, and she sneaks away and goes down a hallway and hides in the hallway, and she sees she hears the child walk by the hall, and then he sees where she is, walks back to the hallway, lays down on the ground and throws his temper tantrum again. I don't know if you guys remember seeing that. And so she would go and she'd hide again, still filming, and the child would come looking for her. And then when he saw that she was watching, he'd throw his temper tantrum again and kick and scream and scratch. And I'm like, oh, it's the media. When we watch, when we listen, it is all a form of manipulation that the Taliban is doing to us to get us scared, to get us worried, to get us to just freaking respond. And they're that temper tantrum, but if we don't respond, they're gonna, you know, they're looking for the response. They're looking for the response. I go, fascinating. Okay, then the second thing that they showed me was something that I remembered when I was writing my story, and it was in current day. And I don't know if, and I told some of you this story already, but there is a scene when the Green River Killer that was killing people in Washington State, and he had killed many hundreds of women, and he got arrested, he got caught, and he goes to jail, and he was given a life sentence. And if he didn't want to be executed or put to death, they would, you know, if he shared where he had hidden his bodies. And they televised his courtroom. And in this place, all of the family members of the victims were coming up to the microphone, and they were yelling obscenities at him, and they were saying, you know, we hope you rot in hell, you're evil, you're weak, you're a coward, I hate you. And the entire time that all these family members came up and yelled at him before he went to prison, you know, he just stood there and smiled and smirked. And I realized as I watched this that their hate and their response to his actions actually fed him and gave him more power than if they hadn't done it. So I remember watching this going, what service is this doing? What service is this offering? Because this man is getting bigger and bigger and more powerful with every family member that is screaming hate. I hate you, I hate you. And then up to the microphone comes this Santa Claus looking dad, and he says to him, he says to the Green River Killer, you make it very difficult not to hate you for what you did to my daughter, but I have chosen not to hate you. I have chosen to follow God's will, and that is to forgive you. So, sir, I forgive you. And the Green River Killer broke down in tears. And it was the first time he had shown any remorse. And I remember watching that going, whoa. So I'm the temper tantrum of the little kid, and now I'm being shown that the more anger and the more hostility, you can't reason with crazy, but you also can't combat it with the same energy that they are throwing at us, because it just feeds their power more and more and more and more. Then the third thing that they showed me was the in my own life with my own children, when they were really, really upset, so incredibly angry, so exhausted. And I would want to put them in timeout. I'd want to throw them in their bedroom and lock the door. I would scream and yell and discipline. And I realized that the louder I got, the louder they got. And it was just escalating and escalating and escalating. And one moment I realized, or I heard, just hold your baby. And so when I wanted to scream and yell and throw a temper tantrum back at them, I took a breath and I grabbed my child and I sat down. And even though they were fighting me, and I just held, we're talking the child's small, but I just held until they calmed down. So now whenever I go to a baby shower, I always write this in the card to the new mother, that when you have reached your end, your wit's end, and you don't think there's anything else you can do, what needs to happen is you need to grab your baby and just hold them. Just hold them. And so I realized, okay, the work that we've been doing with Sharon's protocol is working. The Taliban is not as strong as they used to be. They don't know that. Or if they do know that on some level, but they're going to get loud and loud and loud to sort of prove to us that they are still these powerful, strong individuals. But if we don't buy into the illusion, if we don't buy into it, if we just look at them and we go, oh, they're just throwing a temper tantrum, I don't have to be manipulated by that. I am not going to raise my energy like the family members of the victims of the Green River Killer and attack back. Instead, I am going to lower the energy that is within me, and I'm going to hold myself steady and then do the protocol of sending those waves in of unacceptable and PTO and remove and send it back, and to start with me, to not respond to them, to be that mother that is moving out of the war zone and realizing that the war zone's finding her because it's trying to manipulate her. And we don't have to be manipulated. We don't have to buy into it. We can't reason with crazy, but energetically we can alter the energy and remove it and send it back. And so anyway, that's what I got. Thank you. Thank you. So Sue, I call on to you if you.
Well, this has been an amazing day. I love this work. So I have been in process since last Monday. And I wake up in the middle of the night and it starts and it continues. So the last couple of nights I remember, and one was clearing, and issue after issue came up and I would just release and let go. And last night, all the issues came back up. All the feelings came up. And one at a time, I was told to ask, what would it take to heal this anger? What would it take to heal this rage? What would it take to heal this limiting belief, whatever it was? And it just went on and on and on and on. And so I went into the meditation and I took in one big issue of power over and 10 people. And I got very centered. And I said, what would it take? And the energy went out. And my thought was, well, I didn't even get to finish my thought. I didn't get to finish my question. Hello, I'm still here. Do I have any more part in this? And it was pretty much basically, no, I did it. So I decided to, since we're all still in meditation, to run through a few more. What would it take? And when I got to what would it take for the world to be safe for everyone, I knew that was my next question that I'm taking to spirit. But when the energy went out, it wasn't any one team, it was the whole realm of spirit, the consciousness, the realm, everything that's included in it went into action. And I did my part. That was it. That's all I had to do. So I can't wait to see what tonight brings. It's just been such an amazing journey. Has everyone gone? Has everyone shared? Angelique, have you shared? Okay, you're next.
Thank you, Sue. My past week has also been very informative and deep journeys inside and healing journeys inside, receiving answers and visions, dreams. When I got into this journey now, into the meditation, I immediately connected with the little people and spirits of the forest who love to be of support and to bring clarity from another point of view. And they were saying, we are happy to help. We are showing you the way. We are walking deep into the forest with you. And we are showing you new life and healing forces of the tree people in order that you can remember the united force of the plant kingdom and to work with it. And I gladly walk. No, I not walk, but I kind of fly just above the ground. And we are meeting the roots of various trees, which are carrying a different medicine story, however, all connected to each other. This huge web is like a communication center. It is said to me to shift my focus even more to the inside. Let's see what I wrote down. To the inside, where my internal world can understand the languages of the trees, the little people, the forest spirits, and their song, and communicate. And it is said we make a restart from the base of existence to support and to learn to and listen deeper, to learn to communicate and with the deeper layers of the inside of the mother, in order to understand more in a total different way and more of her transformation. Here's the core of the healing art, where we start within the self. We can show you and all of humanity how to connect and how to make a change. We are happy to do so. And you only have to ask us, because we are ready and waiting. Connecting and communicating with the roots of each plant and each tree, which you may encounter, brings silence and inner peace. And from this peace, all seeds are planted to grow and create new medicine, which is designed to shift your ways of thinking, your perception, your acting, and transform the sickness and the poison. These plant medicine will make you feel clear and at home in the transformed, shifted world we are in now. We are coming into now, and make you resistant to negative ways and make poison dissolve. We are ready to share and collaborate with you and with all of you. And it is said it's to be continued. Thank you.
Thank you, Angelique. Janelle.
Oh, wow. It was really nice to be in this space again. It's been some time since I done this work in the collective with fellow travelers like you sisters. So this was really powerful. And I had two issues. One, I don't want to speak since this is being recorded. And the other one was really kind of following what you had spoke about, Sharon, with the underground parasitic control. And I specifically was regarding like this overtake of power in countries with COVID and the pitting people against each other and how that's been done for eons to create war and dissension and thus weaken the communities. And so I really, once I was grounded and centered and called on my guides and made clear the work that I wanted to do and intended to do, it was like a warrior mission. It was this deep, intense, fast, powerful vision and healing and removal. And just, it was like such a galactic warrior mission that was very intense and succinct. And it took me and kind of to every place that and every issue that I had specified and the surrounding work with it. And it was I'm still pretty vibrating with the intensity of it, and it really did feel like a warrior mission, and it was successful in the finding the seed and removal. So yes, thank you everyone, and I'm just grateful to be able to participate and do this work and be reminded of how powerful this work is. Thank you, Sharon.
Yeah. You know, being able to know where there was a beginning or an escalation or a renewal of those ideas that really were introduced to trap us, not just to know where it began, but to say to the team, okay, don't let that one in. Take the seed and move it back to the source from which this group came. So that literally the concept is as if it were never introduced. Extremely powerful. So I was sitting last night with this pain in my, it was like lockjaw, and it kept getting more and more tight. You know, talk about the ear, Kelly. And I couldn't chew, and it was like, oh my gosh, and get out my pendulum. Is this cancer energy? Is it pre-cancer energy? Is it terminal energy? I mean, I always want to check those things. No, 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 no. And I'm deep sixing, and I have an energy, broadcasting energy. And finally I said, and it didn't dissipate, so finally I said, what are you there for? What are you there for? Hello, Sharon. And they said, to remind you to go after the underground configurations. Don't forget to go after those underground configurations. So I've been doing that work since last night intensely. I was doing it before, but intensely. And my jaw is great, not a problem. So I guess that's a sign. Definitely what we're doing is making a difference. And like I've said before in other circles, this Lion's Gate, all these new openings, all these planetary things come around all the time. And literally what I'm getting is we have the opportunity to land on an entirely new landscape out of cultures. It's like being on that second planet, we don't have to be on a spaceship, that we literally can land on that new landscape, which is Earth mission, planetary truths, divine families agendas as we had intended to be in sovereignty. And when I look at the energies in the galactic worlds, in the Earth regions, in the negative worlds, the changes are phenomenal and fast moving. So I'm just glad my jaw doesn't hurt anymore. And another reason, I'll say this, another reason for a different blueprint for your bodysuit is so that your bodysuit is in resonance with the landscape that we are moving on to. So let's open up for any others. And I see Kelly's hands coming up. So anything you want to say before we end?
One of the things I'd just like to share is that they have been telling me for a couple of weeks, and I wasn't exactly sure because of how they originally told me, but basically to expect a lot of shape shifting, a lot of physical changes. So your eyes may look blue to somebody, but they're brown, or just a lot of physical funkiness, like that'll be captured in photographs. You'll look one way in one moment, and the next moment you might look completely different as we continue to shift. And that for some people will be really unsettling because they'll witness it'll be captured this time around. So I just wanted to share.
Thank you, Kelly.
But thank you everyone for your lovely energy for my brother-in-law. He passed last week during our gathering, very peacefully, and so I think we eased his way. So thank you.
Mm-hmm. Thanks, Emma. It occurred to me while we were all sharing, we are all individually so experienced and have such integrity to who we are and what we're holding, and a strength within us that's unique and yet collaborative, and yet in the network of the power that's here, in the diversity that's here, is really, I think we're just beginning to get tastes of it, but I think we're going to be seeing more and more that from each other, because it's life-changing and world-changing.
Yeah, that's what it kind of feels like. As we change, the world around us is changing.
Let's just sit in your own way, in your own presence. Feel the energy that is here. The solutions already exist. The solutions already exist. They're just waiting to be called forth. And we're here calling them forth as we eliminate those old energies that would have crushed them. So as we prepare to close the circle for this week, send those energies out into the world like the dots of the breath, the air that dissolves toxicities, neutralizes fear, and blesses it and encourages and strengthens. The circle is complete, and we close it until we meet again. And so it is. So now you can unmute yourself, do your hugs and your loves and elbow
And
bumps.
Sushila,
Bye.
so glad to see you.
Yeah, thank you. Bye. Love you all.
Thank you, bye.
Sharon.
Thank
Bye.
you,
Bye,
Sharon.
hugs.
Bye-bye.
Uh,
Bye,
Bye,
everyone.
Namaste. Great week.